This is gonna be a fun one because I've been trying to get my brothers and sisters to decolonize their minds. That's the only reason I'm in this public sphere. I told you guys before, I'm a citizen journalist slash an agitator here to shift the Overton window to the left as far as I can, because I have good arguments and I need you guys to convince me that your capitalist dogma is true. So there's been this long-standing tradition between capitalists and the ruling class to get people from disenfranchised, marginalized communities to fight each other, to have uh, some sort of competition on who the most oppressed. I like to call it the oppression Olympics. Let's have an oppression Olympics. Let's see who the most oppressed, and then fight and beg the white man for resources and beg them to love us. And that's what so many Negroes who have been Americanized, as John Woodbrock has been, have been convinced that somehow that migrants, Latinos, all these other people are somehow our enemies, and the reason why the black community is in the state that it is. Now I'm gonna show you guys this article. Now there was a town hall in Chicago. We are in late stage capitalism, and things are continuing to get worse for workers, especially black people. Racial income inequality is higher than it's ever been. So black people are upset. So despite everything that is going on, you have this person, Pamela Denise Long, who I'm pretty sure I ripped quite a few of her op-eds because I'm starting to remember her name. She's becoming so ridiculous. So this new trend of black capitalists who do not want to acknowledge that this system has failed us, that they exploit black labor, they support the police state. They're trying to shift the focus and anger the black community on undocumented workers. That's what they want us to be angry at. So let's analyze this mindset, and we're gonna go through the story. I love this story. This is gonna be hilarious because I'm gonna thoroughly debunk this nonsense right now. Thoroughly. I've been arguing with these black capitalists all down Twitter, destroying the ridiculous.
I've been loving it, Nick. You know what? I go to a few people's accounts on Twitter. I just go to my feed, right? I go to your account.
So I'll be on my timeline, vibing, raging against the ruling class, picking apart dumb opinions from Oppo journalists like this person, who I would love to have a conversation with, but Pamela blocked me. I told them we want to have a conversation with them because I want her to explain with me, with her big brain. I want big brain Pamela to explain to me this open border that Biden has. Explain to me how that works. So for one, you immediately start off exposing yourself as a moron if you are claiming Jim Crow Joe, who's funding the border industrial complex more than Trump, has an open border policy. Mm-hmm. So immediately destroying your credibility here. And now, as we get through this article, I want to digest the ridiculousness of their arguments, because they were saying legal immigration is hurting us, and you're going to see these people in this town hall who I do not mostly blame, but they need to be educated. Think about the inverse of what these people are saying. That somehow, if we got immigration completely under control, let's say that we quote unquote close the border, somehow destroyed and killed all migration in this country. Do these black capitalists really believe that once we get rid of undocumented workers, that the white man will wake up? All of a sudden, the white man will be like, oh, we got no more immigrants now. Now we're going to take care of black people. We're going to love black people. If it only wasn't for them immigrants, we would have taken care of you in the first place. Beyond parody for anyone to believe this. And this is why I have all the smoke. Negroes who have been Americanized, who want to become the oppressor themselves. Now let's get into this. This comes down to whether you believe me or Pamela. Now, considering that Pamela believes that we have an open border, who's on the right track here? Who do you think has the most legitimacy in this argument? Because I will claim, and I'm going to show you guys later why I say so, anyone who claims that Joe Biden has an open border, they are the dumbest, most unserious people in politics. Period. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly the open border that Joe Biden has. Biden, this is from this year, Biden to replace Trump migration policy with Trump-esque asylum policy. Here's Biden, who funded ICE through record rates. The Biden administration, ICE contracts encourage forced labor. So Joe Biden's ICE was literally using forced labor on migrants, but according to Pamela and the dumb black capitalists, he's not doing enough. He's not doing enough. You guys want to see the policy that they claim is open border. Let me see if I can pull. I actually had the wrong thing to say, but I'll pull it up here. I read this quite a few times. Joe Biden, here it is. And I know I read this quite a few times on the show, but it seems like I'm the only one who reads because you have the vast majority, you have so many people in political discourse that are repeating the bullshit that Joe Biden has open borders. So if I ever was to have a conversation with Pamela, which I don't think she wants to happen because she blocked me, right? I want her to explain to me how this policy is an open border. So you had Biden in his 2023 budget, $97.3 billion for the DHS, the most ever. Between the border and custom enforcement and ICE, they get $6 million more than Donald Trump. Can you imagine how much people will be ridiculed if they said Donald Trump had an open border policy? So why do we allow this dumb shit when a Democrat is president? Especially when said Democrat is funding the border industrial complex, deporting more Haitian people than Donald Trump ever did. Already deported more people, but according to Pamela and a bunch of dumb black capitalists, we have an open border. And somehow this open border is negatively influencing people in Chicago.
Oh yeah, it's not serious, Nick. It's not serious, but I am really curious to they really believe this, and the thing is because some things I went to her page before she blocked us because she blocked all of us. I went to her page before she blocked all of us.
I didn't know
that. Yeah,
she
went to the whole network and blocked everybody.
Because she's mad because I put her name in the picture.
It wasn't because of you. It was because that, but because you called her out, the main account screenshot yours and quote tweeted her, and she responded by saying for us to join some sort of space on Twitter.
Oh, I told him I'm down. That's gonna be hilarious. That's gonna be hilarious. I'm going to dismantle these people. I told him I'm down.
But it was yesterday, so you missed that part. But maybe you can invite her on to the show. We'll reach out to her and invite her into the show. But
I need her to explain
go ahead.
Open border policy.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Story, and I'm gonna explain. And we just now getting started into how ridiculous this is. We already show how Joe Biden do not have open border, Pamela, and all the black capitalists who somehow believe this is their struggle. Apparently, I'm the only one who reads, and I was asking her these questions, and I was asking her why are you punching down at undocumented workers instead of the Chicago Police Department that's taking 45% of the city municipal budget? And why is that important? Because it's the core argument that a lot of these black people in Chicago are making. So she blocked me. I want to have a conversation with her about this. Now, let's get into this. Because I'm gonna find the press conference video. So let's watch this video, and I'm gonna show you guys, and you guys kind of hear the complaint. Now, before I get to this video, I do want to say this. The same way I am not extremely angry at the uninformed Biden voter, I am not necessarily angry at these people. These people are the result of the long-standing effort to get black people, Latinos, Muslims, Asian, all fighting each other. You got black people say, "Oh my God, they got Asian pro-Asian policies." And then whenever black people get something, Latinos like, "Oh my God, why they getting that?" Then Asian people like, "Oh my God, why are you getting it?" Am I the only one who view this as pathetic? You guys are fighting for crumbs, begging your oppressor to acknowledge you. As you want other people to suffer, and you buy into the capitalist myth of scarcity. That somehow that if we take care of the immigrants, we won't have enough. Why are you buying into this argument? This capitalist scarcity myth, which I want to ask
you
about.
It's the same.
And go ahead, CJ. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, to your point, it's the same brainwashing that white workers get. We are not seeing this is what's happening. It's a divide and conquer. That's all this is about. Dividing the worker.
And I have way more heat for Pamela and her defenders than I do these people, because these people are the unfortunate result of this longstanding divide and conquer strategy by the capitalists that we must call out. You guys are spitting in the face of people like Nkosi Mandela, the grandson of Nelson Mandela, who explained why we need to have international solidarity. He had organizations and events that showed solidarity for our people. But you want to spit in the face of Haitians? Those are the black people that Biden is punishing. Black Cubans. You want to go after these people in order to tap dance and get the approval of the white man, which they are. Because I'm going to show you some of the people that are excited about this. Because you want to know who love the battle between black people and Latino fighting for resources? As black people attacking migrants, blaming them for their problems, you got white men like, they fight each other. Look at these dumb motherfuckers. They fight each other. We robbing both of them. But we got black people against that's anti-Latino, Latinos that anti-black, and white people love it. You guys are suckers. They are robbing us, but you worry about immigrants. And I'm going to show you guys some evidence of this. So 70% of black people and 70% of Latinos do not trust their drinking water because black people drinking water has been poisoned. And I want Pamela or any of these black people to explain to me what did the illegal undocumented immigrant have to do with the fact that our water is poisoned? What did the undocumented immigrant have to do with the fact that black people had the highest amount of medical debt? You cowards are afraid to punch up and call out our real oppressors because you guys want to become one. That's the problem. So let's hear from the people who've been brainwashed by these black capitalists. Go ahead, artist.
It is insulting that you would consider such action about a forgotten community that none of you live in.
Developing tonight, outbursts and outrage at a community meeting in South Shore over a housing plan for migrants.
The debate comes as the city deals with the crisis of where to put migrants bussed in from the border.
Elizabeth Matthews is live now with more. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, contentious to say the least. This forum was a chance for city leaders to get input from the public about the old South Shore High School housing migrants. The city got their input.
A packed house at the South Shore International College Prep High School. The crowd voicing their opinion, strongly opposing the addition of migrants in their community.
I am just outraged. I'm outraged, and I don't understand why our community was...
Imagine being outraged about a housing plan. So this is my problem. You guys are essentially begging for crumbs from our state instead of demanding what is ours. I am a Marxist. I am a communist. You people are deeply unimpressive to me. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, my God, why won't you allocate tax money correctly? How about we seize the means of production? How about we stop buying for bullshit neoliberal plans instead, and we should be advocating for universal programs instead of this garbage. Black people, we have the highest amount of medical debt in this country. But instead of going after big pharma, you're going after housing plans? We have police budgets. They take 45% of cities' budgets, municipal budgets. But you're blaming housing programs? You guys see how colonized your mind had to be to focus on one of the few good things our government do. And you're like, oh my God, why are they not doing it for us? Why aren't you calling out corporate bailouts?
So this is how I see it, Nick. It'll be like I don't understand. It'd be like, we are prisoners, and they bring in another. So we're two prisoners, Nick, and they don't give us enough to eat. They capture another prisoner, and put the prisoner in our cell with the same amount of food. We're mad at the other prisoner. What sense does that make instead of being mad at the prison guard who's not giving us enough food? It doesn't make any sense. But this is the framing. But this is why I say But this is why, to your point earlier, I'm not mad at the person with the sort of prison mindset, the slave mentality, who doesn't understand that's the dynamic. You get what I'm saying? So people like this who are overworked, working people who are overworked, especially black people, overworked, underpaid, no health care, and got the police state. So all of these pressures coming in, and then that leaves an opening, a fertile ground for propaganda, for divide and conquer methods. And that's what has been seeped in here. We have to be the ones that go into these communities and help decolonize. But people like Pamela are not helping that fight.
Yeah, they are the one who brainwashing these people who want the best for the community, but they are being tricked into divide and conquer by the capitalists. So I am giving harsh critiques in what they're saying, but I do want to be clear. I am not mad at these people. I'm mad at the person who writes the article because they're part of the professional managerial class who brainwashes people. Hope that's clear. So let's continue to listen to our arguments, and I'm gonna knock quite a few of them down as we go. And after this, I'm gonna show you guys who's extremely happy to see this footage. You got the entire right wing.
They loving it.
Media
they loving it
here. You got all these right wingers that showing this. So all the black capitalists who tweeting this out, who now patting themselves on the back because they sound like fucking Ron DeSantis and Tucker Carlson on immigration issues. Do you think that a lot of these right wingers have your best intention at heart? And I'm gonna get to that.
It's
here very
classic coonery, where you think the praise for you being willing to join your oppressor and oppressing somebody else is somehow praise that your oppressor likes you. You are a moron. You are a moron. That's plain and simple. They are only like patting you on the back because you're helping to oppress somebody else.
And that's how Pamela, despite being not a great critical thinker, that's how she got a job at Newsweek. You think she's the smartest Negro they could find? Pamela, she's a moron. But she's the Negro that can write a Newsweek because she's gonna do divide and conquer for them. So let's continue and listen to the ridiculous arguments.
Was chosen. City representatives saying the old South Shore High School would not be a shelter, but one of 3 respite centers for the migrants to temporarily sleep, eat, and take a shower, starting with about 250 people taking up the building's first floor. This is a way for the city to get the current 300 migrants out of the police stations. Questions were asked, but answers hard to hear, interrupted by the upset crowd. Before the meeting, a small protest of South Shore neighbors demanding the energy put into the migrant issue be put into their neighborhoods.
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us.
You're so close.
That's what I was saying. You just gotta take out just a couple of parts, and she's on point. But go ahead, Nick. I think you're going to the same place. Go ahead.
I just want to propose how I want the video finish. I'll let the video finish, and I'm gonna continue with the article because I'm gonna break the points down there. I'll let the video finish actually.
Yeah. That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The Black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois, that they are not just welcome, but they are serviced.
So is this a done deal? A spokesperson for Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office says this is a possible solution, but still a fluid situation.
So instead of blaming our sanctions regime, instead of blaming the military-industrial complex that which led to this migration crisis, they're blaming the migrant who have no choice. Instead of blaming the people who allocate the funds towards war, towards the police, instead of these wasteful neoliberal programs that has been in place in Chicago forever, they blame them housing migrants in hotels instead of prisons. Guys, you want to know why they do that? They do that because it saves money. You know how much it costs to house a prison? Like they do these studies. They're like, bro, it actually save us money to do this. So once you realize they do these things to save money and to be generally more humane, you're going to realize that their complaints is ridiculous. So now I'm going to get to this.
But to that point, Nick, to that point, this what people have to understand who have this stance, because they're almost there to you, like you said. You protesting this and them saying, "Oh, okay, we won't do the micro center," ain't gonna get you nothing you want.
Nothing.
It's not a trade-off. You get what I'm saying? You're saying, yeah, we need this. We are in trouble, which is true. That's like I'm saying. She was accurate. It is true. There is a crisis happening, not just in Chicago, but Chicago in particular. Yes, but having the migrants not come in these places and be treated like humans is not going to get you that. Like either way, you're still going to be in the same situation.
I'm going to show you guys why this makes no sense. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to go back to my page. I actually clipped out this part here. Let me pull it up.
Let me
throw this article I wanted to make sure I definitely read. Here it is. Let me see. Here it is.
It's a question for you. It's a comment that has a question for you. I'll put it in later because I'm sure you're gonna want to answer it.
What was the question?
It's a question that's gonna get you going. Maybe it says, do you think a lot of this immigrants have the Black community's interests at heart? What arguments are y'all even making? So you're saying if
we can say, I want to make sure I stay on
go ahead. Yeah, that's why I was like, let me wait. Yeah, let me wait.
We throw it in because I think by the end it will be 100% clear. The argument is, for a long time, capitalists have benefited from divide and conquer. So that is exactly what they want people to do. You have these people who are blaming illegal immigration for their community not getting the resources that they need. So I think here's the quote. Here's the quote. Actually, I had to pull it up right here. Here it is. I'm gonna show you guys why this is ridiculous. Black Chicagoans of the South Shore neighborhood came out in droves to reject a recent proposal to convert a public high school building to a migrant facility with chance of build the wall. Now let's get back to that. Hold that thought. So they were chanting build the wall. Okay. And calling the city council to task for, so they will complain that they're making decisions about us when none of you live here. So their complaint is they feel that the migrants are siphoning financial resources away from Black citizens. That's their argument. Their argument is that we are upset at these migrants because they're siphoning resources from our community. So if you are actually concerned about the resources from your community, why do you want to build a wall that will cost untold hundreds of millions of dollars? Who pays for that, sir? You guys see how that doesn't make sense? So if you care about resources going to your community, how is your community going to be taken care of when you got a wall that's not going to stop migration being built that is siphoning hundreds of millions of dollars and then hundreds of millions of dollars per year based on repairs? So that doesn't even make sense for you guys to even complain about that. And if you're going to complain about how our resources is managed, you will look at the bloated Chicago Police Department that is not preventing crime. You will look at all the means-tested neoliberal programs that do nothing. That's the argument that we are making. The objection that these Black people have is that we need more resources to spend on our community. So if you want more resources to spend on your community, why aren't you calling out the military-industrial complex? Right. Why aren't you calling out corporate bailouts? There's so many things that you guys can call out that is way more significant than one fucking school. So that let's say in your argument that we don't build a school, you guys save that money. So they're going to put a reparation program in place? You guys going to have health care? Or are they going to take care of it? No, as socialists and as communists, we are advocating us seizing the means of production so we don't have to beg on our knees and attack other marginalized communities to get what we are owed. You guys look pathetic to me attacking other communities. White men love us more. White men, please give us more. Give us more, please. No, that's ours. That's ours.
It's coonery it's coonery, Nick, because this is exactly what a coon does. A coon says self-preservation over the group. That is exactly what a coon. This is a derivative mindset of coonery. There's no other way to put this. Go ahead.
They think that if they call out the migrants, then white people are gonna love them and accept them. Because we've seen how that worked before. So you want to see the kind of people who are cheering you guys on? If you guys don't know who Andy Negro is, probably one of the most openly anti-black people out there. One of the most openly anti-black, racist. Like, I remember the things he said about the Black Lives Matter protest. So this is a guy who clearly don't give a fuck about our community, but look, he's extremely happy. Because what did I tell you guys? There is nothing that makes white America more happy than seeing this pathetic shit. They're seeing this shit like, oh my God, why are you taking care of them? Take care of us. Come on, white master, please. Deny them their services. Give us ours. Accept me as part of the oppressor. As a Marxist, this makes my skin crawl. You guys are crawling to your knees, begging the capitalists for some chump change. Pathetic. Now, this is what Andy Negro said. One Negro.
He's not black for those that know he's not black.
Mr. Andy, how do you fucking say that? Ingo? He says Black Chicago residents held a press conference to express frustration that hundreds of migrants have relocated to the city. Millions of migrants have made illegal crossing to the U.S. last year. And this last year, due to the administration's lax policy. So once again, another moron pretending that we have open borders. And this is the kind of person who is cheerleading your coonery, Pamela. For all the people who are all the black people who are extremely anti-illegal, undocumented worker, you're providing the talking points for these people. Because, as I said before, there's nothing more than white people love than watching us fight.
Right.
Watching us fight.
Like, if somebody who's on your opposite side is retweeting you, like, look at this shit. Like, the same thing happened to Anna Kasparian when she talked about, she made some comment about being a woman, and then all of conservative media retweeted her, from Ben Shapiro to whoever else. That's kind of an indication here. So if you're a black person and you write something and a bunch of white conservatives tweet your shit, that's a little suspicious to me. That should tell you something, though. Go ahead.
So do you guys think Andy Negro or all these right-wing Republicans, do you think that they want to reallocate funds to house black people? Do you think that what they calling for? Unbelievably ridiculous. Come from these people. So I'm and this is what I put up earlier. Hold up. Here it is. Oh shit! Here it is. I said this is white America watching black people, immigrants, and other marginalized communities fight with each other, just like the right-wing media sphere is loving this story. They like, we got them to fight. They probably can't believe it. They're like, bro, after all the shit we did, they fight each other. Can you imagine being that dumb, giving them that victory? So now this is the point. If you guys don't get it, this is what black capitalists will not understand. This is what capitalists do not understand. And this is what I openly challenge on my show all the time. I have made this point many times on RBN. People take econ 101, and I was debating with this person. They was like, "What, you saying that migrants don't lower wages?" I'm like, "Show me the evidence of this." He said, "Well, I took an econ 101 class." No, I'm dead serious. That's what that motherfucker said. A bunch of capitalists teach you a bunch of bullshit in education, and they say shit to deflect blame from themselves, and people take it at face value.
Yeah.
The Walton family, with their fortune, Jeff Bezos, with their fortune, they would love to pay Amazon workers a living wage. Jeff Bezos would love to pay them $25-$30 an hour if it only wasn't for the illegal migrant. Do anyone believe that? That makes no sense.
But this is the reason why I feel like these Chicago residents are coming out and saying this, because let's say if you're a Chicago resident and you're saying, why don't we have this? Why don't we have this? And you're the elected officials are saying, well, you know, those immigrants are siphoning all. That's what you're going to say, because that's the reason they're telling you you can't get what you need. It's because they're saying it's because somebody else.
So I read the theory of labor value. I know what labor value is. A lot of black capitalists don't. So I'm going to read this very true meme. No immigrant has taken your job. You were laid off by a capitalist who took advantage of the immigrant to increase his profits. And nothing makes them happier than to hear the fact that you're a fucking idiot who's actually mad at the immigrant instead of him. So they decide, because capitalism is a system and a mode of production that values profits. The only job of a capitalist is to produce profits. The job of a capitalist is not to take care of the community. It is not to have a central planning model that is best for most. Their only job is to maximize profits. So when they decide to lay you off and then pay an illegal immigrant less, they are making a coordinated decision of paying and replacing your job in order to maximize profits. That has nothing to, the migrant did not force them to do that. I never had a job in my entire life where I was like, man, if only that illegal undocumented worker wasn't around, I'll be having a pay raise. That is not how it works. Your manager, your boss, your industry is making a decision because they're trying to maximize profits. There is no mysterious mechanism. This is what they teach you in Econ 101. Man, I would love to pay my workers their fair wage, but there's this phenomenon where there's migrations of immigrants around, undocumented workers around, and since they're around, unfortunately, I have to pay you minimum wage. I want to pay you more, but the undocumented worker is forcing me to not to. Ridiculous,
Nick.
ridiculous.
But if your analysis of what's happening to you, like these people, isn't like rooted in economics, this is why you're not coming up with the right reason. And the people the capitalists, the people who write all the educational books, who make all the rules, is telling you at every angle, it's not the system. You're never talking about the system is not producing correctly. You're always talking about what the people who want the system in place is telling you it is. So, and that's coming from every angle. But to you, like an average person, Nick, who's not steeped in politics, they're just saying, well, if this news outlet is saying in this one, that's two different ones. I'm getting two different sources, right? That means that's right? No, it's all one corporate source, regardless of the name of the company. Go ahead, Nick, if you have.
So that's the last part of the segment. I'm gonna show you guys how ridiculous this thesis is. This is why I want to get back. This is why I want to get to this question earlier. I want to push it back because this is what arguments are y'all even making? So now let's get into this, because this is the feigned argument from people who pretending they care about the black community, but their job is to divide and conquer. It said Biden's open border hurts black Americans most of all, and we all know it. And the argument, as I've shown you through this article, if you scroll down, the number one argument they are making is they're siphoning financial resources away from black citizens and imposing unnecessary competition for jobs. So if you are concerned about the state of the black community, you will be advocating for universal programs that will uplift us the most. So I'm gonna show you guys something that black people should really be concerned about, and stuff that is really pertinent in our community. And I want you guys to see whether the undocumented immigrant has anything to do with this at all. Here's number one. This story released a few days ago. High percentages of black Hispanic Americans worried about tainted water. And when you look at it, 76% of black adults, 3 out of 4 black adults, 7 out of 10 Hispanic adults are concerned about their drinking water. I drink tea here all the time. I buy my water because I can't drink the faucet here. Shit's disgusting. Absolutely. All our water is poison. So my question to the people who believe that the black migrant is our number one problem, how is the black migrant responsible for the fact that our infrastructure has been destroyed by negligence? That our water is poisoned in Flint and many other places. What does the undocumented immigrant have to do with this? And you also have the massive problem of Black Americans in medical debt. So you guys are talking about undocumented people siphoning resources away as the Black Congressional Caucus and Democrats don't support Medicare for all. You know who Medicare for all will help the most? Black Americans. 1 out of 3 Black Americans are going to suffer medical debt in their lifetime, the highest out of any group. The number one killer of Black Americans is heart disease and cancer because we don't go to the doctor. We do not get diagnosed as fast as other people do. So if you actually care about the Black community, you'll be supporting Medicare for all. You'll be attacking Moderna, Pfizer, Big Pharma. Right. These are the people you'll be calling out, not undocumented migrants. And so if I'm still not getting to you at this point, and you're worried about the economic well-being of Black Americans, you want to know who they definitely not blaming? Barack Obama. How many of these Black boomers are holding press conferences calling out Barack Obama? So Barack Obama is directly responsible for the destruction of Black wealth because how he managed the banking crisis in 2008. He hired Eric Holder, who was a Wall Street plant. WikiLeaks revealed how he was chosen to be part of the Obama administration, and then he took all the Wall Street bankers who illegally, and emphasis on the quote illegally foreclosed on Black people's homes because they knew they can get away with it, thus crashing our wealth because Black people's wealth is usually tied into our homes. So a lot of these Black boomers has a picture of Barack Obama somewhere around here in their house. So as you motherfuckers refuse to put a glove on Barack Obama, you got pictures of Barack Obama. You guys love Barack Obama, who destroyed our wealth. You want to tell me you want to attack the undocumented worker? What did the undocumented worker have to do with 2008? What did it have to do with the fact that we got the highest amount of medical debt? What did it have to do with the fact that 61% of civil asset forfeiture cases are Black? That millions and millions and millions of dollars are stolen from our state by our government. Is that because the undocumented migrant, Pamela? Oh, I can't wait till you guys invite me to this space because you guys got some explaining to do. I'm always.
I didn't know you wanted to be invited because when she sent the link yesterday, I saw it in the thread. I would have told you about it.
I could have. I would have told it. What the fuck? We got Mother's Day. People was like, "Let's do space." Like, are y'all doing anything? Like the fuck? Yeah. I'm just shit posting on Twitter, bro. I'm not gonna derail my whole day.
So you knew about the space, or you thought she was bringing you on a show? I thought you wanted to.
She replied to me on Twitter, and I replied to her once. And apparently I hurt her feelings. She blocked me. So I haven't seen, like, I was ready. I was like, we're going to have a quick little exchange on Twitter. Then I'll reach out and we can do something. But she blocked me after my first response.
No, I think she blocked you. I think she blocked you because I said, she posted the space and I was like, I wouldn't attend this clown shit or something like that. I said, so maybe, but that was me. I don't think she blocked everybody because of that or because of you. Either one of those
my things. Account. They know who my account is. Yeah. They know the fuck. These people know who I am. They know what I'm always sparring with people. And I want to say, if you want to back up your arguments, you can. You guys see how little amount of people take that me up on that offer. And I'll be willing to do that in this conversation. Because I
think she'll come on. I mean, I think she'll come. If you invite her, I'm pretty sure she'll come on. Just gotta, you gotta find a way to reach out, probably by email or something. I'm sure.
I think the space is gonna be fun because spaces are chaos. I was in spaces, debating.
I gotta hear that. I gotta hear that. I
was in the space debating people a while ago on how left is organized. Because they were one of the people that were like, oh my God, you guys are organizing these people for anti-war rallies. Went in there and dismantled these people. I wish it was like 100 people in there. Shit was hilarious because they were taking turns. I was like, all right, who's next? You can go 2 minutes. You can go 2 minutes. So we can do that again. I would love to have.
Oh wow, I missed that. I didn't see that. I don't think I saw.
There's a few people in our community that saw it. There's a few people that saw it. It was one of them late night things. I was bored, so they invited me to the space. because they wanted to call me out on something. It was fucking glorious. I wish I would have posted it. But we can do that again on one of these other Twitter spaces. I'm always down.
Okay.
One of these that we see. But I think that's all I have. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to make sure? I think that's it. I think that's mostly everything I want to cover.
Might be the last thing on that. I'm sure we'll revisit it in the future thing. I'm sure they'll reach out to you. Go ahead.
One last point I want to make. The frustration shown at the Chicago press conference is because of neoliberal means-tested programs. They are upset because they got a house. They're upset because they get housing. They get taken care of, right? This is the trap of neoliberal means-testing programs and why they advocate for it. Because when you means-test shit, when you say that only certain people can get this benefit, then people will start gnawing at each other about it.
Right.
The thing that makes Medicare for all so solid is that everyone gets health care. Everyone gets health care. So who suffers the most from medical debt? The black Americans. Who suffer the most from wage theft? Black Americans. Who will benefit the most from having our labor value actually respected? Us actually giving the living wage will be our community. So if we drop neoliberal and liberal means testing programs and have straight up black universal programs that redistribute the wealth that we earn from the capitalist class, there wouldn't be no pathetic groveling over resources. Oh, he got this, but I didn't get it. No, we deserve it all. And that's where I'm very interested in seeing how these people are going to debate, because they buy into the argument of scarcity. The migrants can't be taken care of because there won't be enough for us. And imagine being so dumb and making that argument, seeing how much police siphon for our community. We had civil asset forfeiture where they stealing millions from us. Chicago Police Department taking 40% of their budget. But they arguing over the crumbs. It's pathetic. Corporate bail, trillions of dollars going to corporate bailouts, and y'all arguing for crumbs. Pathetic to me. That's why it'd be interesting to see how they go about it. Because we see the people who propping them up, they are the white American culture warriors and right-wing trickle-down economic capitalists, because they see you guys doing the job for them of divide and conquer. So you know how you break down those walls? By forming systems of solidarity. By forming those systems of solidarity. When you work with people, when you're in community with people, when you get to know people, those prejudices go away. You find yourself starting to care about these communities. You guys doing this thing where you're like, I don't care about anyone else because they don't care about us. That accomplishes nothing. And I don't want to be one of the people that just accomplished nothing. But CJ, sorry, I cut you off. I just want to make a point. Go ahead,
no, you just actually made part of the point, and
I'm glad you put this tweet on.
Yeah, the second part of the point I wanted to make was this tweet, because when you start to say like this is a result, when you say how do we get what happened to our black sort of traditional radical understanding of things, and Ajamu speaks to it right here. Pro-American Negroism is what he calls what we're talking about here. And I've been using the word coonery. It has a residualness of sort of the effects of being coon, and this is what I'm talking about. And this is a better, more professional name for it. Pro-American Negroism is the logical consequence of 50 counter-revolutions. A essential element of its ideological character is captured in the popularity of theories of anti-blackness that lack any national and class context that others colonized and exploited people. Puts it so perfectly.
I'm glad you showed this.
Puts it so perfectly.
That's I see this problem where instead of seeking black liberation, black capitalists want to be the oppressors themselves.
Right.
You got niggas trying to sound like Tucker Carlson on him. They want to be the one who locked the immigrants in the cage, and they think that's their path to liberation.
I mean, it's a rap line from Jay-Z, and I'm a recovering Jay-Z fan. He says, "What's better than one billionaire? Two, especially if they have the same hue as you." That is what he's talking about. Just having more black oppressors is the finish line for black capitalists.
Yep, absolutely. Well said. So, I don't want to replace them. I don't want to be a manager. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of people want to do. So we want to we trying to get people to decolonize their mind, and that's why I want. Into that comment earlier, I will always have all the funk. I will always have all the heat towards people who I see do the capitalist bidding. The capitalist bidding of divide and conquer, pushing culture wars, pushing intellectually lazy thinking that the workers cannot. We cannot have we cannot have like this wave of anti-intellectualism that our society is trying to implant on people. Like, so when you see Pamela says that Biden has an open border, that's her promoting lazy anti-intellectual thinking that we cannot survive that. Like, and for a long time, we push anti-intellectualism, but we need to become an intelligent working class community. We need to be well-read. We got to have strategies. We can't have strategies like let's take over the Democrat Party. Let's have a good time campaigning. Let's vibe and hope everything go well. No, we need to do what the Black Panthers taught us. Like the Black Panthers used to have monthly theory readings. Like if you want to be a leader in the Black Panthers, you was expected to lead those theory readings a lot of times. There's got to be a coordinated plan of attack. We got to know our history. We got to be able to debunk the nonsense that come from both parties. And that is why I have all the fun for the Black people who are not doing that. The people who are just lazily regurgitating corporate bullshit.